Hi, welcome to today's lesson. Our learning target today is I can use drawings to divide a unit fraction by a whole number. Let's get started. Here we have our first problem. 1/3, which is a unit fraction, divided by 2, which is a whole number. So we are going to use a 4-step procedure in order to divide unit fractions by whole numbers. And we're going to color code it. And you are going to do this exact same work in your practice today. So pay close attention, follow along with me, and I'm sure you're going to understand this by the time the lesson is through. Let's get started. All right, so if I look over here, this green box hides our 4 steps. So step 1 says, represent the dividend, which is the unit fraction. So as you can see here, the unit fraction is our dividend. It's what we're starting with. It's the group that we're breaking up into smaller groups, right? And that's less than 1 today. So what's going to be important to always know about today's lesson is that the square represents 1 whole. So our first job is to represent the fraction, the unit fraction that we start with. In this case, we have to divide this whole square into thirds. So we're going to do that in blue because we are going to color code our work. So I am going to go ahead and estimate as well as I can 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So now I have 3/3, and I'm going to color in the third that I'm going to work with here using my blue watercolor. And you're going to use a highlighter to do the same thing if you want. It's going to be really important that you can focus on just the 1/3 that you are dividing up, at least in the first few steps. All right, so there we go. This is 1/3 of the whole, and it represents this dividend 1/3. Okay, step 2 says, divide the unit fraction by the divisor, which is a whole number. So this problem says, let's take our third and let's divide it by 2. Let's divide it into 2 equal groups. We're going to use a different color, red, to do that. And I'm going to divide it into 2 equal groups, just like that. I've divided this third now into 1 group, 2 groups. But I don't yet have our quotient, our answer. That comes next. Here we go. Ready? Step 3. Divide. Step 3. Divide the remaining parts of the whole by the divisor. So I have to divide up this third also, and I have to divide this third also by the divisor too. And I'm going to make it look a little different by using a dotted line so we can see the difference between the 1/3 that is what we're dividing, our dividend, and the rest of the whole. And you'll see why in a second here. Let's see here. So dotted line. So that dotted line there separates the next third into 2 parts, and this dotted line here separates the next third into 2 parts. Now, why did we do that? Well, that comes in here in the last step. Now, in order to get our quotient, we have to compare the size of one piece of the shaded dividend. That's one piece right here. One piece of the shaded dividend to all of the pieces in the whole. That's the quotient. So this one piece of the shaded dividend, that's our 1 in our unit answer. I'll put that in green today. And how many pieces are there in the whole? Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces in the whole. That is, of course, the job of the denominator to report the number of pieces in the whole. And so our final answer, our final quotient is 1/6. 1/3 divided by 2 is 1/6. This one piece is 1 out of 6 pieces in the whole. Let's try another problem. Here we have 1/5 divided by 3. So, as we learned in the last problem, our first step is going to be to represent the dividend, which is the unit fraction. So we need to represent 1/5 here in the whole. In other words, we need to divide the whole up into 5 equal pieces. We're going to do it in blue. We're going to do it horizontally, just like this. I'm going to estimate fifths by going, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not perfect, but close enough. And then I'm going to shade in with my paintbrush. You can use your highlighter. 1/5. So now we have the dividend, 1/5, represented as this shaded area out of the entire square. Now, step 2 says, do you remember what step 2 says? I hope so. It says, divide the unit fraction by the divisor, which is a whole number. So our divisor is 3. That means we have to take this 1/5 and divide it into 3 equal pieces. So I'm going to do that in a different color, my red marker. And let's see, 1/3, 2/3. Not perfect. Oh, and 3/3, of course. Not perfect, but we got it. Close enough. And now step 3 says we need to divide the remaining parts of the whole by the divisor. This 5th and this 5th, this 5th, and this 5th all also have to be divided up into these thirds. So again, dotted lines in the same color to represent that. There we go, all the way down here. I'm trying to make them as straight as possible. You get the idea. And let's divide up. What happened here? Let me go back to my marker. Let's see. Okay. Dotted lines, straight down. Okay. All of these fifths now would have been divided into thirds, right? Look at this 1/5. 1, 2, 3 thirds. 1, 2, 3 thirds. Okay. Final step. Are you ready? We have to compare the size of one piece. That's this one piece of the shaded dividend, right? This was a shaded dividend, and this is just one piece, to all of the pieces in the whole square. And that is the quotient. So we have one piece, that's the numerator, out of how many pieces? Well, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pieces in all. So that's our denominator, because the job of the denominator is to report the number of pieces in the whole. Our final number sentence, let's see here. 1/5 divided by 3 equals 1/15. One part out of all 15. All right, you're going to try the next one. Let's do this. Okay, here we have the problem 1/2 divided by 5. You are going to do this one with me. Here we go. Step 1 says represent the dividend, which is the unit fraction. All right, now, how are you going to do this? Well, you might have to take out a piece of scratch paper or open up a blank Jamboard in a different tab so you can draw this out, okay? But I want you to draw out dividing this whole, right? Represent the dividend, the whole square, and show me 1/2 of the square. Go ahead. All right. So did you cut the square in half horizontally like that? And then shade in 1/2 like this? There we go. We've done it. Step 2. Now we have to divide this unit fraction by the divisor, which is the whole number. So here is the 1/2, and we have to divide it by 5. In other words, we have to cut it up into 5 equal pieces. We're going to do that in different. Oh, I just gave you the answer, didn't I? All right, I'll put this part up, and then you can do the next part. All right, let's see here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not perfect, but close enough. We have now divided the half of the square into 5 equal pieces, just like our divisor tells us to do. But there's another step, right? The third step is to divide the remaining parts by the whole of the whole. Divide the remaining parts of the whole by the divisor. I want you to do that right now on your drawing. Go ahead and divide the remaining parts of the whole by the divisor. Go ahead. All right. Did you do like I've been doing and use dotted lines to divide this other half by 5 as well? Right? Because we need to know, let's see, right there, like that, and like that. There we go. We need to know how many parts are in the whole, right? Because that is going to help us get our quotient in the final step. So go ahead. Step 4 says, compare the size of one piece of the shaded dividend. Here's the shaded dividend. And here's one piece of it. Compare the size of that piece to all of the pieces in the whole. What is the quotient of this problem? Okay, let's see if you're correct. This is one piece right here, right? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces in the whole. So our quotient, 1/2 divided by 5 equals 10. Sorry, I got distracted by my boys in the hallway. Is one piece out of 10. Our quotient is 1/10. Okay. Our learning target today is I can use drawings to divide a unit fraction by a whole number. The work you're about to do, the practice work, is exactly like the work we've just been doing together. But if you need help, let me know. I'm ready to work with you. Let's get to it.